I'm going to show you 11 code examples of how to use CrewAI tools to upgrade your AI agents. These tools will include code execution, searching through various file types, looking online and scraping websites, looking through images and extracting information about it. So let's start with the first one, code execution. And the basic setup for all of these files is going to be our imports. We need to import the specific tool from the CrewAI tools library. Then I load the .env, I instantiate the code tool or whatever tool it's going to be. And then when we create the agent in the tools parameter, I give it that tool. You could just as easy pass in the code interpreter tool just like that as well. But I like to separate it out so that I can see exactly what it is. Also, in case I have multiple tools, I like to do that. And then we have the task, which is just basically answering the question. And then we have the crew setup. And then down here, I have my question for the code or whatever it may be that I want it to do. Then we kick off the crew and then finally print the result. So let's go ahead and test this out. Let me move my terminal up here a little bit. And let's go to run this. So we're going to say Python code underscore execution underscore tool.py. So in this case, I'm just saying, can you create a simple binary search algorithm in Python? Let's do kind of a simple test. And then it went through the code execution agent here. It tried to create the code here. So in the tool, in the code input, it created the code for this. Then it tried to run that with an example, but it failed. There was some line continuation character. That's fine. That's going to happen. Totally fine. It actually happened quite a few times, but it kept going back and fixing itself. As you can see here, it says something about interpreting Python 3 code strings. So it went through this. Finally, down here, it fixed itself, and I knew it fixed it whenever the tool output, it actually said target found at index 5 because they had a print statement where when it went through an example of putting some parameter into the function, it actually returned a result. So then down here, we finally have the final answer. And then we have the actual code for this algorithm. But instead of just printing out the result onto the screen, maybe I want to save it to a file. Well, this is going to lead me into the second tool, which is the file write tool. Now, if you're interested in creating more AI agents and learning how to create them, I am here to help you. Join my school community down in the description below, and I will show you everything that you need to know to create AI agents and automate things in your life. Now, in this file, it is very similar, except I've added another tool from the CrewAI underscore tools library called file writer tool. So I created it here with the variable called file writer. I then, inside the agent, I added the file writer to the suite of tools that it can use from the tools parameter. That's pretty much it. And then I told it to save the code to the proper directory given by the tool. So I just kind of gave it the task, updated the task and the goal as well. But other than that, everything else is the same. So let's see if this works. All right, so in this example, I said, can you create a bubble sort in Python with examples? So then the code execution agent starts first, as it should. So here is a simple implementation of the bubble sort with examples. So it kind of gave some examples here. So then it went ahead and tried to save it into a file as well without actually me directing it because it had the tools, and with the task that I gave it, I wanted to save it. Right, so there was some prompting involved to make sure that it actually used the file writer tool. So next, it's using the file writer tool. It gave it a file name. It has a directory, which these are things that you can hard code into the file writer tool if you would like to. So then the content was the Python function that it just created. And then with the tool output for that, it successfully saved that or wrote it to the code examples directory that it created in bubble sort py file. Okay, so if we scroll down here, now if we go, it created this code examples folder. If we go in here, we now have this Python file. And now for our third tool, this is pretty self-explanatory. This is a file read tool. So it doesn't perform any search, doesn't do any RAG, nothing like that. It just literally reads everything or all the contents inside of a file. So you just import the file read tool from CrewAI. Then I have a simple agent, task, crew, just like before. And we're just gonna ask it to basically regurgitate everything from a file to make sure that it works. So we're gonna say Python read underscore file.py. We'll say rag directory, even though it's not performing rag, I just have several files in here. alex.json, fake alex.json. This is just a sample person. And now if I scroll up here, it's saying it wants to, the file path is rag directory fake alex.json, and the tool output, I mean, this is just sample data I got from ChatGPT about a fictional person, and the tool output is correct because it is just giving us everything that is inside of that file, fake alex.json. As you can see here, Alex Morrison lives in San Francisco. Perfect. Okay, this is a very simple tool, but I just need to show you exactly how it works. Let's move on to the next one. Now for the fourth tool, we'll get into our first rag, and this is a CSV Rag search tool. So you import the CSV search tool, and then you instantiate it. You can give it the exact file path. So that's the only CSV that you want. So I have a sample one with a bunch of financial sample data that I just retrieved online. And so this is, this may or may not be like actual data, but the goal is just to show you an example. So if we go back here, I'm going to pass in that exact file path. And then the rest of the agents, the task, and the crew, everything else is kind of the same. I'm just going to have a while loop again so I can ask it multiple questions. Now let's go ahead and run this. So we're going to say Python CSV_file rag search.py. Search.py. The first thing it's going to do is, because I don't have a database instantiated yet, it is going to insert it's going to insert this financial sample data.csv as batches into the default vector database, which is ChromaDB with CrewAI. You can modify that if you would like, but the default is ChromaDB, and that's all we need for this example. Okay, so my question for this was, can you tell me the profit for Canada on product Paseo in October 2014 with a COGS of 12,490? Whatever that is, right? I don't actually know, but it went into the CSV search agent. It had the search query here, so I kind of took the important things. It found relevant content, so it looks like it gave back 3 different rows of data essentially. And then finally down here, it gave me back this. Okay, so what I think I found, so COGS 12,490. So if I search for this is all of it, right? This is, I filtered everything just for Canada, just to kind of show you that it can retrieve specific data. So COGS column here, 12,490. There's only 2 of them, but the difference is this one is for Montana, and this one has the product of Paseo, or product is Montana, this product is Paseo. But like whatever, this is just sample data, right? So these could just be some of these are cities or states, whatever. That's the product name, but it did correctly give me the, through RAG, it gave me the correct row of data that I wanted. Now going into our 5th tool, this is the docx search tool. So we just import the docx search tool. I'm going to give it a specific file that I have here that you guys will have, that you can use as an example as well. And then we have still the same agent, task, crew, and the same while loop, so that we can just keep asking questions about that file. Let's go ahead and run this now. Okay, well, the first thing it's going to do is insert batches into the Chroma database. Now, this is a very small documentation, just some of my hobbies and my name. I think that's actually probably it. So the first question I want to ask is, what are all of the hobbies of this user? So it's going to go through here. As you can see, it's returning, or the relevant content. Because it's really short, it says my name is Tyler, and then all the hobbies. So it's basically listing them out, and it's just returning that all the hobbies include soccer, football, for people that are not in the States, which is what it should be called, drinking, coding, and teaching, drinking coffee with alcohol. But now I can ask another question, is what is the user's name? And it's going to probably get the same relevant content because it's so small. And the user's name, the name is Tyler. Okay, great. This is just another example of how to use RAG with a built-in CrewAI tool. Now let's move on to the 6th tool, and that is going to be the vision tool. So this tool is also built into CrewAI, as all of these are. So you're just going to import CrewAI_tools vision tool. Kind of the same deal that we're going to be doing. I just modified the agent to say this is a vision agent. Modify the task. We're going to ask about the images, etc. We have a while loop as well. And I have 2 example images. I have one from the airport and one about cats. So let's ask the vision tool 2 questions about those. And by the way, I know as I'm running this, I named this file vision_rag. That's not very accurate. I was just in the mode of using RAG agents. So this will be changed by the time you get this in my GitHub. But let's ask a question about the first image. So the first image is, let's do the cats one. So how many cats can you find in the images/cats.jpg image? Okay, so it's going to come in here. It's going to look into that repository or that directory, look at the cat's image, and then hopefully give me all of the correct information. It says there are a total of 12 cats in the cats.jpg image. Well, let's find out. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, well, it counted. There must be another cat hidden that I, as a stupid person, cannot see. All right, so let's move on to the next one, which is the airport one. So what can you tell me about this image? And then I'm going to give it the path. So images/airport.jpg. And let's open this up so you can see what it is as it's going to tell us about it. See, in the background, there's a Spirit airplane taking off. This one says United. There's what, like 6 planes here. Let's see what it says. This image likely depicts a scene from an airport, which it does. Airports often blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is just basic. What are the companies on the planes shown here? And then I have to, of course, give it the path again. So airport.jpg. All right, so finally it said the companies on the plane shown in the image are United Airlines and Spirit Airlines. Perfect. Now for the 7th tool, actually probably the next 2, I'm going to use Exa, which is a free platform where we can search and crawl for different web data. Like you can search and crawl for anything. And I have examples here on their website. This is just Exa, exa.ai. And you're going to go ahead and try this API for free. You get a free API, so you don't have to pay anything. So once you do that, once you come into this website, on the left-hand side here, you just sign in or sign up if you haven't. There's an API keys tab here, and you're just going to copy this API key here. Now, once you've gotten your API key, you're in my exa search.py file. I just import the exa search tool. You can set your OS environment here for exa API key, or you can set it in a .env file. I then just create the tool, instantiate it, pass that tool again into the agent, just like we always have, and then everything else is pretty much the same. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so my question was, I want to know about startups focused on good user experience in the San Francisco Bay Area. So what I did was, there are search results. It gave me all the search results that using Exa search, and then it basically comes through here. And at the end, it gives me a kind of list of all the startups with these experiences. Now, just to try another example is I want to find blog posts on Rust. So it goes through here, has all these different search results about it. So then at the end here, what it should do is it's going to give me just all of the titles, the URLs, and with the scores, meaning what it thinks is relevant to the question that I asked. The URLs, the IDs, the scores for all of the outputs, all the tool outputs. Okay, so now piggybacking off the last one for Exa search tool, we're going to be adding in this one the scrape website tool, which is going to take all those URLs that Exa gave us. It's going to scrape them, and then hopefully we can get some information about them and then maybe summarize those as well, instead of just getting the URLs and like the score for each of those links. So you're just going to import the scrape website tool. I created that or instantiated that here. I added the scrape tool to the agent. So now we have the Exa search tool and the scrape tool. And I just modified the agents and the task a little bit for that. And then now all we have to do is run this. So we're gonna say Python Exa underscore and website search. Okay, so my question, all right, so what I'm asking is to give me 5 of the top AI startups in the San Francisco area. However, it's going to be giving me more than 5. That's okay. We can fix that as part of the actual task. But now what's happening after it uses the Exa search agent, the tool for actually querying these using Exa search, now it's going to use the scrape website tool on each of those to read that website's content. Okay, so then it's going through that. It's going to do that for each of them if it can. Sometimes, you're not able to on some specific websites. But it went through here and it did. So it searched those, but it only returned 5 of them. So it got paradox.ai, beam AI, like whatever these are. It was able to give me a summary by searching through each of those using the scrape website tool to actually scrape the content from those websites. And this is really cool. This is a way you can just, we've been through a couple examples where you can combine a couple of these tools together into a single agent. They don't always have to be separated. Okay, we are in the home stretch now. And in this ninth one, this is the JSON search tool. So we're going to perform RAG on JSON files. A lot of these things is you want to perform RAG on specific file types. Okay, so we are going to instantiate this just like we normally would. We make sure that the agent has that tool, and then the task the agent and the while loop to ask questions about that JSON file is the exact same. So let's go ahead and start running this. So Python JSON rag search.py. And then the first thing we're going to do is we are going to use this fake alex.json. And I think what I want to ask is, what is the marital status of Alex? So I'm going to say, what is the marital status of Alex in the file, and then I'm going to give it the exact path for the file. You can also hard code this here. Guess what? It returned the marital status is single. Okay, so now I want to scroll down a little bit more, and I want to know how many years did Alex work at TechWave Solutions. So that's what I asked. So you have to be a little specific about the question. So how many years did Alex work at TechWave Solutions in this file? Now, of course, like I said, you can add this into the actual tool, so you don't have to keep saying that. But it tried to add existing embedding IDs, so it didn't. So it didn't have to add anything else into the Chroma database, and that does save some time. So here's the JSON search agent. It's working. It's trying to find relevant content. So I think finally it did. Right here is TechWave Solutions, years worked. So if we scroll down here, it says Alex worked at TechWave Solutions for 5 years, and right here he did. So pretty cool stuff. This is another way to use RAG with a different file type. Okay, for the 10th tool, this is the PDF search tool. Now with this tool, this is probably a more common one. All you have to do is give it the path to a URL or locally stored, wherever it's stored, right? You just have to give it the path to that PDF. Now I am adding, as you can see, an LLM class here. You don't have to do this. By default, you're going to use GPT-4o with your open API key, but this is a different way just so you can kind of see. So you can then give that LLM to the agent, but everything else is the exact same. We're just going to ask questions about this. Actually, it's about the PDF documentation. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. And the first thing it's going to do is it's going to perform vector database on this PDF and add the embeddings into the vector database. Man, I can't speak. Okay, so it did that. As again, ChromaDB is the default. Now let's ask a question. What is the purpose of AutoGen Studio? And then it should give us the relevant content just like it is here, and then give us an output. So AutoGen Studio is designed to provide a no-code environment for rapidly prototyping and testing multi-agent workflows, which that is what it's supposed to do. Then my follow-up question, what are the 3 key points from this documentation? So I found the relevant content to answer this question. And then, it's a no-code developer tool, design patterns and research directions to optimize multi-agent systems by dynamically generating agents based on task requirements and available resources. Okay. Really cool stuff. This is just another way to perform RAG, and we have one more tool left. For the very last tool example, we're going to be using Serper.dev. And as you can see here, this is their website. It's the world's fastest and cheapest Google search API. It's one of many. I don't know about being the fastest and the cheapest, but I really do enjoy it. I must say that whenever you sign in, you get 2,500 free queries. So you could probably use this and not really worry about ever exhausting the amount of requests. So you just sign in, and then you can see here, I have 970 credits left. You're going to go on the left-hand side API key, copy that, and then put that into our file. Now to make this work, you just import the Serper Dev tool from CrewAI. You instantiate that tool. Then you are going to create the agent, the task, the crew. Again, the same old story as everything else. In a .env file, you will put your Serper_API_key. Okay, I can give you an example environment for some of the API keys that we needed, such as Exa, your OpenAI, and now your Serper Dev. How this works, let's just go ahead and run this and I will show you. So I want to ask, can you give me 5 agentic frameworks from 2024? Let's see what it actually gives us. Now it's probably going to search for more, but it's going to give us others. So there's a lot going on here. So it went and searched for different links. So all these links here, Turing posts, like some of these I'm not really sure, but it just went and did a Google search, right? So the Google search was 15 agentic frameworks of 2024 Turing post. That's not exactly what I asked for. You could modify this so it gives you exactly the search query, but it did, and it returned GUI agents, Agent K. I mean, honestly, I've literally never heard of these. So let's try a different one. Now I asked it to give me the top models from IBM in 2024 and only search for IBM AI models. So the search query now in Google using Serper Dev is top IBM AI models in 2024 through our Serper search agent. And you can see here are all the links and the searches that it came up with. And so finally, it kind of gave us a little summary, the key, and it looks like it returned for us the Granite 3.0 family of AI models, which is correct. Granite is the IBM's AI family of models. Cool. This was our 11 tools that you can use just from importing and installing CrewAI tools.